All right. So you, I, we are. That's the framework. That's the framework what I want to take you along. The framework of innovation, what we are working on. First, you. Understand the underlying signals and patterns before you innovate. You have to really understand the mental model which is behind. I. Imagine the unimaginable. Sometimes we just do the next thing which is obvious. We. Wonder how we can solve the problem together. So that's really the core thing of it. We always think of this silver bullet story. No, it's not there. It's an ecosystem we're going to work on. And R, recreate the world with impact. You, I, we are. Very simple. Just remember that. You, understand the underlying signals and face reality. That's the reality we are facing. We've got wildfires. You remember Canada? The biggest one they ever had. We had in 1 week floods in September from Taiwan over to Spain, over to Burning Man Festival. In 1 week, everything was flooded. And Libya, you remember? All in 1 week. We had droughts in places where we never experienced that. And we had hurricanes coming up. You remember the one in Mexico? It speeded up like hell and no one could explain why. Why? Because of that. That's what you see is the NASA curve of parts per million GHG, greenhouse gases emission we have in the orbit. We are at the moment at 424 ppm, parts per million. And what you see there, it's an exponential curve. So we have to start, if we understand the signals, we have to understand what exponential growth means. And it doesn't mean that we have to perform, to increase our performance incrementally. No. In exponential times, if you improve your performance incrementally, step by step, you fall back exponentially. And that's what we're experiencing at the moment. We're trying to cut emissions, but step by step by step. We're trying to do this little pieces, and we think, yeah, it's going to be all right. No, it's not. We're going to fall back exponentially. So we are hitting a wall. We are coming through three curves basically. We came from the agricultural development. We went there, still in there. We had the Industrial Revolution coming around. We're still in there. We are playing on that curve as well. And we are in the digital world. And we're trying to solve everything with Facebook. Sorry, is that a solution? Is that a solution? The question, we have to really work on it? So we're hitting a wall. And when we're hitting a wall, we really should think. Imagine the unimaginable. Turn the world upside down. Be crazy at the beginning. Because that's where you start to leave your mental pattern. And I would like to invite you to leave the mental pattern you have. I was with a team of a big OEM in Singapore. And we were talking about the mental model of mobility. And you know what they were answering? Yeah, having a good steering wheel and a good sort of an accelerator. That's mobility. We saw what mobility is yesterday. We have to change the mental model. So, we are obviously hitting a wall, and there's this digital curve coming along, and we might start to think, is this digital world helping us? And we saw already some examples. To move into the regenerative era of circular carbon economy. Let's talk about mushrooms. Mushrooms? Yeah. I'm not talking about the crazy ones, you know. There are some around as well. No. Well, let's talk about these ones. What you see here on the picture is the mycelium, so the roots of the fungus, the roots of the mushrooms under the forest soil, the back end of the forest, which is below. And actually, this stuff captures 1/3 of the carbon emissions we are having out there in the atmosphere. 1/3 is covered by the mycelium. So be crazy at the beginning. What if, besides having this natural mycelium, to build a digital mycelium, a digital network of networks, which helps us to face the major problems we're having, but not in a silo, but connected. And what do we have to do? We have to adapt, because climate change is there. We can't ignore it. We have to reduce. Yes, we have to do that on a large scale. We have to remove the carbon emission, because we've got a legacy out there. And we have to restore the world we are living in. So let's take these 4 focus areas, and I'll take a quick trip on that one. So we wonder how we can solve the problem together, build up a network, like here. And to adapt, reduce, remove, and restore. I would take you a quick trip on that one. A company called Plant. What they're doing is they're using plants as sensors. No tech inside. Plants as sensors. Because plants can understand, oh, I've got stress. I've got some fungi coming up. I've got not enough water. But that happens much earlier than some sensors in the soil can do. So what this company does is do some gene engineering on it and bringing fluorescent colors on the leaves. So with a drone, you can actually capture the picture of it and you understand here's something happening. Way before a farmer understands what's happening. And of course, all this data has to be connected. Digital mycelium. VCG.ai, another company. Did you know that we're talking about circular economy quite a lot? How much percent of all the products are produced are going into circular economy? Any idea? 8%. 8% of all the producers we're doing is coming back into circular economy. 8%. And everybody's talking about it. There's something wrong. We're hitting the wall. So we've got to do something on it. So VC does it. And what they do is they focus on food production and the food waste on the production supply chain. We are talking about it, the supply chain of food production. And 1/3 of all the GHG emissions, at least in Europe, are coming from the food production. So we have to do something. 43% of all the food production waste goes to landfill. Landfill? Is that a solution? VCG.ai connects on one side the discovery of producers and the ones who can use it. And they turn it into valuable basic materials, like for pharmacy, and increase the value. Not to waste 143 billion per year in the European Union. 143 billion are wasted. Blue Planet, another one in the network. Company in the West Coast of America. What do? They use the white chalk cliffs of Dover. No. They use biomimicry. They understand, why did these white chalk cliffs grow? How did it come? Well, it was actually carbon coming to the ocean. The calcification process took place, and they turned it into stone. Why don't we use the same model of turning CO2 into artificial limestone? That's what they do. And by the way, for the next 40 years, every month we're going to build a New York City. So with these ones in the network, it would help. Tom will talk about these ones, the carbon removal in India Alliance, and I will just skip that one. He's talking about biochar production, and how to regenerate, to restore. So what if we build a digital mycelium? A network of networks. To build a new, equitable, regenerative economy. Economy means working together, being connected. Being together on a digital mycelium, for example, like backup. You're not lost. You're here. And I love to work with you together to build this mycelium. And that's what we do as EDG, Enterprise Development Group. We read the signals, we come down to MVPs, we get them on the market, and getting out of the slide deck into real solutions. So please connect. I love to work with you together. See you. Thank you very much.